Hey friend, welcome to Luloa Yoga. I'm Lauren and I am so glad that you are joining me for today's pose breakdown that is all about Dandasana, also known as plank pose. So the way that this works, let's chitty chat just a little bit about some of the benefits of this pose, why you might want to incorporate it to your yoga practice or exercise routine. And then I'll go through some common mishaps and then provide a modification out there for you to give it a go if you need. So benefits of this pose, plank, if you've ever practiced plank, it is a full body strengthener. It works the shoulders, the triceps, the muscles in the back, so the rhomboids, the lats. It engages your glutes, your quads. It lengthens the calves. And of course, those good old abdominal muscles, right? It also is really beneficial for helping to create a greater sense of this core stability and increased core stability, which is vital for everyday movement, and especially as we age. We want to be able to keep this core area as strong as possible. So plank is wonderful to help us do that. And a couple of other things maybe we don't necessarily associate with plank that is helpful is the ability to help with wrist mobility, wrist flexion in particular, and building strength in the hands. Also, working on those forearms, right? Building a little strength there too. What else? So let's talk about some common let's do the pose first, just to get a sense, a feel for what's going on in the body. And then I'll talk you through a couple of those mishaps and how we can fix them. All right, so let's come to hands and knees. You've got your index fingers pointing forward, your hands are underneath the shoulders, and spread your fingers wide apart. And then one leg at a time, step the left leg back, right leg back, ball of the feet on the ground, feet hip distance, and your knees are lifted. And you are pressing that ground away from you. Take just a couple of breaths and notice how this feels in your body. Right, you want to try to breathe in and out through the nose. Good, and then come on down, have a seat onto your shins or your bum. All right, so that's extended arm plank. Let me show you a couple of things I commonly see. And maybe because it's at the end of a practice or a workout, or maybe you're just tired, but often I see either this, which is like booty pop, booty up in the air, or I see this, hips sag towards the ground. Right? So now if we're booty popping, it's not really doing a whole heck of a lot, right? We're not in a down dog, but we're not fully in the pose. So it's just kind of this in between. I'm feeling it a little bit more in the shoulders and in the wrist than what I probably should, and not really anything in the abdominals. Conversely, if I let my hips sag to the floor, right, I'm resting in that shoulder joint, so I'm feeling some tension around the neck, and I'm compressing this lumbar spine area. So those are the two things that we don't want to do, right? We don't want to booty pop. We don't want to hump the floor by letting the hips sag. So how do we avoid that? I'm glad you asked. All right, so in this pose, a couple of important things to make sure you are engaging. Number one, in plank, or really anytime you are hands down, pressing the ground away, we want to protract your shoulder blades, meaning we want to pull the shoulder blades apart from each other. So from behind, what that looks like is instead of drawing the shoulder blades together, right, instead of retracting, we want to protract. We want to pull the shoulder blades away. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us the ability to then engage and press the ground away and engage all of these muscles, the tricep, the delt, those rotator cuff muscles, so that we can hold a strong and stable plank. So that's one thing, number one, we want to do, protract the shoulders. And the second thing that we want to do is engage the abdominal muscles even more fully by neutralizing our pelvis. So what does that mean? All right, so let me show you from the side. If you hear a teacher, and I say this often, tell you to tuck your tailbone. What we mean by that is neutralize your pelvis. Most of us have an anterior pelvic tilt, meaning that there's a little bit more curve to the lumbar spine, and the pelvis tilts slightly forward. So if your pelvis is a bowl of water, that bowl of water is tilting forward. What we want to do is create length in the back of the spine, in the lumbar spine, to avoid compression, right, so it feels better. And we want to more fully engage the abdominals. So the way that we do that is draw the tailbone under and pull the pubic bone towards the sternum, so towards the chest, right? So if you put hand on the front and hand on the back, think about drawing the tailbone under so you slightly feel the glutes engage more, pubic bone lifts, right? And you feel those low abdominal muscles turn on more fully. So that bowl of water, your pelvis, we just bring it to a neutral position. And what that does is it helps us, again, engage everything in the core. So when we talk about the core is not just your abdominal muscles. The core is everything basically from your shoulders to the bottom of your butt cheeks, front, back, and sides. So we want to engage everything is fully here. That's how we build that core stability that is so vital. All right, so let's put this all together. Come back down to hands and knees. Index fingers are forward, spread the hands wide, palms press down. And before we even step back, let's go ahead, protract those shoulders, spread them wide, press the ground away. Feel the back of your arms, the triceps engage. And from here, step it back one leg at a time, come into your plank pose. And then readjust, right? Maybe you need to shift a little bit of body weight, maybe adjust the hands. And then the same thing, think about pull that tailbone under, squeeze your butt cheeks, right? Not like you're trying to, crack a walnut, but you're trying to hold a sheet of paper there. All right, so neutralize the pelvis, feel the low belly engage, and every time you exhale, think about pulling everything in through center and belly button back towards the spine. All right, stay here. Press the heels back so that you stretch through the calves. You're looking down at the ground. You are breathing. Right, don't let the shoulders hike up towards the ears either. Pull the shoulder blades towards your waist. So engage your lat muscles here to help do that. Take just another breath. And then lower down onto the knees. Fantastic. All right, so one more thing for this breakdown. A great alternative to full extended arm plank is to just lower down onto the knees. And I say just, it's not just, because you can still get tremendous benefit and work the abdominals here. So from hands and knees, all those same alignment points, just draw the hips forward. And so when we do that, we're getting a long line from the back of the head to the crease of the knees. You could cross the ankles or keep the feet down, whatever you prefer. But here, tailbone pulls under, squeeze your butt, right? Shoulders pull down the back, shoulder blades are protracted, neck is long, take another breath. And then release. Fantastic. Oh, a little stretch. And there you have it, my friend. Dandasana, plank pose. Have a look-see at this again if you need to. And I really recommend for checking alignment, a couple of options. Practice this in front of a mirror so that you could see, or record yourself on your phone and go back and have a look. Always a great way to learn. And thanks for joining me. Hope to see you next time on the mat or maybe in one of the classes at Lulua. See you soon, my friend. Namaste.